Okay, here's a good question. I'm going to try and graph this. I don't know if I'll be able to do it with my iPad, but let's see. So they say to graph it. So when you graph it, this one, when you click here to enlarge the graph, the thing you have to pick is the cubic graph. So you pick that, and when you pick that, it says 4-point tool. So you need to get 4 points that are on that graph in order to graph it. So let's get those 4 points. So it looks like you've already got the ones that you should have. So negative x cubed plus 4x squared. I'm going to take a common factor of negative x squared out. That'll leave me with x minus 4 in here. And then, so this is like negative x times x minus 4. So to figure out where it crosses the x-axis, you set f of x to be 0. So according to the 0 property, either negative x equals 0, or x equals 0, or x minus 4 equals 0. Here, if you divide both sides by negative 1, you still get x equals 0, x equals 0. Add 4 to both sides, you get x is equal to 4. So if I'm graphing this, and yours there looks good, I have a point right here, and there's 2 of them, so it bounces there, just like you've shown here. And then at 4, I've got another point. So the graph will come down just like you have it, and it has to bounce there, come back, and go that way. So it has to have that shape because it's a negative x cubed. So x cubed says it goes this way or this way. This one would be positive, this one's negative, so it has to look like that. But now I only have 2 points that are on my graph. So when you're graphing it, you have to have 4 points. So what I do is I just take some points that are close to the x-intercepts. So there's one at 0. I'm going to find a point and figure out what y is when x is 1. And then maybe I'll also figure out what y is when x is, maybe I'll go over to 5. Find one outside there. So to do that, I have to figure out the value of the function when x is 1. And I could have picked 2, I could have picked 3, I could have picked negative 1, negative 2. Any number would work. You probably don't want to go too high because it might not be on my graph. So f of 1 then is minus, and I plug in a negative 1 wherever I see an x cubed plus 4 times negative 1 squared. Okay, negative 1 cubed, and you could just plug all this into decimals and it'll tell the answer. Negative 1 cubed is negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. Negative 1 squared is 1 times 4 would be 4. So the answer to f of 1 is 5. So there's a point on that graph that is 1 and 5. So I go over 1 and up 5. So that point there is 1 and 5. And when you graph it, you need to graph that. And I'll hopefully try and show you that. Okay, f of 2 is, was I going to do 2? Or no, I was going to do 5. Let's do 5. So f of 5. So it'll be, that one might be too big. Well, let's try it. So negative 5 cubed plus 4 times 5 squared. 5 cubed is 125 times a minus, it'd be a minus 125. 5 squared is 25 times 4 is 100. And minus 125 plus 100 is negative 25. And it looks like that'll fit on my graph. So the other point is 5, and then way down here at minus 25 is another point. Okay, so given that, I'm going to try to graph this. Okay, I'm going to try and graph this polynomial. To do that, you need to find 4 points. And I'll maybe try and show that after where I get the points, but let's try it. Let's try and graph it. So I'm going to hit click to enlarge graph. I've got to pick this cubic thing, and now I've got to tap on 4 points. one of the points from my factoring that you'll see in a second, and that I showed with the other question, is 0, 0. So there's 0, 0. Another one is 2, 0, which is right there. Another point is 1, 1, right there. And another point, I just got to do this in my head. 2 cubed is minus 8. Oh, no, I already have 2. Oh, there, yeah, I have 2. Let's go 3. If I do that, 3 is minus 27 and 18. Minus 27 and 18 is minus 9. So 3, and what did I say? Minus 9. 3 and minus 9. Right there. I think I got the right point. Uh-oh. There. 3 and minus 9. So there I've got 4 points, and it is following that cubic, the negative cubic. So it starts high and ends low, and I've got 4 points identified. Okay, let me hit save, and let's see if if I hit the point in the right spot. Check answer. Nice work. There we go. Okay. Shoot, I wanted to go back to that question. So it was minus x cubed plus 2x squared. That's what it was. And I had factored out a minus x squared and left with x minus 2. So I came up with x equals 0 twice because that's squared, and x is equal to 2. So I graphed that, but then I had to come up with 2 other points. So I have 1 point that's at 0, 1 point that's 2 on the x-axis, and I needed to come up with 2 other points. So I picked 1. So I found the value of the function when you plug in a 1. So it's minus 1 cubed plus 2 times 1 squared. 1 cubed is 1 times the negative 1 is negative 1. 1 squared is 1 times 2 would be 2. So that came out to a positive 1. So a point on the graph was 1, 1. And then another point on the graph was I figured out what the value of the function is when x is 3. So again, negative, and I plug in 3 everywhere I see an x into that original equation, that one. So plus 2 times 3 squared. 3 cubed is 27 times negative would be negative 27. 3 squared is 9 times 2 is 18. And negative 27 plus 18 is negative 9. So the other point that I used was 3 and negative 9. So I used the point 0, 0. That was from there. And I used the point 2, 0. And that one is from there. And then I used this point and this point. So I had to use all 4 of those points when I graphed. So try that. It's a little finicky, like you would have seen me. I had a hard time hitting the point exactly on. You can sort of look in the top right and it tells you where you're at, where your point is. But it is a little finicky doing that. But give it a try.